talking to a lot of entrepreneurs who are telling me that they're feeling stuck. And I get it. I've been there many times. And you just feel like you're in this rut. And one of the things that I had to learn was two things. It was just two things. Timing and sequencing. Timing and sequencing. What do I mean by that? So everything has to be done at the right time. It's really hard to know if you're doing something at the right time. And I've developed a habit of constantly asking myself, like, is this the right time to do this? Is this the right time to do this? Or make this move or make that decision? Sometimes it's yes, it's the right time, and sometimes it's not the right time. And once you kind of understand that first, you kind of know what to do next, what's the next best thing to do, because you want to get the timing right, which is really hard. And then sequencing. Maybe I should have started with sequencing, but sequencing is like really looking at the tasks, the projects that you're working on and putting them in the right order, putting them in the right sequence, which is a skill unto itself. Yes, I should have started with sequencing, because sequencing it lets you prioritize what it is that you need to get done at the right time. And it's just these in and out of sequences and time. And I'll talk a little bit more about it. I'm actually in the middle of something, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about these two concepts of sequencing and timing. The timing, it's time for my tea. It's tea time. From you, like, how do you deal with timing? Because I know that I have been I'm either like ahead of the time or I'm behind on the time. And finding the right timing to do the right thing is a skill within itself. So I want to hear from you. How do you deal with timing? Put it in the comments. Yeah, I was just scrolling through Twitter and this came up really quick. It said raising capital is less about your pitch deck and more about your timing. And maybe you're not raising capital right now, but whatever project you're working on, it's less about putting all that emphasis on the project, whether it be a product that you're building or a service that you're building. It's really keeping your finger on the pulse of that timing. And there's no real book that can show you what the right time is. You really have to be observant of the marketplace. It's about context, understanding the context that you're working in as much as possible. I like the idea of game theory, understanding who the players are, understanding, the landscape of the industry that you're playing in. All helps contribute to your timing. It's such an important skill that, it makes all of the difference. And I'm just learning how to get my timing right. Talk a little bit more about timing because it's so important. And one of the things, especially when you're talking about timing the market, because markets are literally networks, they're little nodes. And in order for you to kind of understand where the timing is in the market, is you have to understand the pulse of the market. You have to understand how to decipher what's signal and what's noise, and really finding the wave of a trend and finding and seeing what it is, because all markets are different. So for instance, I'm in the M&A space. Right now, I know that we're about to experience a great transfer of wealth. They call it the silver tsunami, where baby boomers who have built up wealth are going to be passing, they're going to be retiring and passing on, and their assets are going to be transferred. So I know that's a wave. It's a wave that's happening. And I'm starting to notice and starting to see the different players in the M&A space. So I'm looking at the brokers, I'm seeing the sellers, people that are selling their businesses, whether they be small businesses, people that are buying the businesses, the consultants that make up the services, the software companies. All of these different players are positioning themselves in the market. So I know that I have to position myself in a way that A, stands out, and then B, it's the right timing. And in that time, as I'm doing my research, as I'm communicating with people, going into like Facebook groups and listening on Twitter, like I'm collecting and curating all these things to really find the signal. Really find the signal. I call it taste. It's really like the taste, like what's going on, and trying to see where the entry point is for me, for the M&A space, where the entry point is and where it's going to be. So for me, that space is figuring out how to put how to build media on top of the M&A space, and that's my focus. And because I see there's a lot more of what the combination of the creator economy and founder-led content. So because we live in a creator economy, it's going to be harder to stand out because of AI. So more founders will need to have their own media company. So I want to be able to, at minimum, as an entry point, enter in a way where we can help people that are buying companies, selling companies, really build their own media company within their firms, among other things. But that's an entry point where I believe is going to be very significant over the next 5 to 10 years. So I just want to just go more on that timing, because I know it's such a challenge to time the market. I've been off so many times, and this, and you learn over time. I'm like, okay, how to time the market. So definitely want to share that. At some point, I'm gonna go deeper on timing and also cover sequencing, because sequencing is another thing, that's not really taught. I went to business school, and these are two things they don't teach you in business school. They don't teach you about timing or sequencing, because it's so critical. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. With that said, I'm out. Peace.